Hello there, welcome to another exciting tutorial here at the Genius Studios Lab. I am Derek Keels, We are Derek Keels, your host, and today we're going to be covering masks in After Effects. So it's going to be a great tutorial. Let's go ahead and get started. What?
Well, hello again. Here we are in the wonderful world of After Effects, covering the miracle magic of masking. Wow, try saying that 10 times fast. Masking is really very, very simple at its core. It's not something that is very difficult. It's not a concept that is very difficult to understand, I should say. Now, you can do a lot of complicated masking stuff, and it really can get pretty intuitive. But at its core, the basics of masking is pretty easy, and so I want to demonstrate that for you. So what I'm going to do is create some new solids first. So I'm going to go up to Layer and New and select Solid, and okay, that's a green solid. That's fine. We're going to create a new one. I can use a shortcut just by hitting Control Y or Command Y on a Mac, and this time I'm going to change the hue to blue. Hue to blue kind of rhymes there. So anyway, go ahead and hit OK. Now essentially what I have is I have two layers. The first layer is a blue layer, and the second layer is a green layer. The green layer is on bottom and the blue layer is on top, so they are stacked just like it shows in this box here. So if I select the blue layer and I move it, you can see it reveals the green layer underneath it. Now of course this can be, this can be repeated multiple times, so you can hit Control Y, and I can come over here, and this time I can select a red layer. So I change the hue to a red, and just go ahead and hit OK. Now we've got a red layer that's on top. So the red layer is on top, and the blue layer is underneath it, and the green layer is underneath that. And you can clearly see that as I move this, and if I come over here and I move that, you can see that they're all stacked on top of one another, kind of like a sandwich. And so that's great. That was a nice little layer kind of tutorial there, and you can shift them, you can shift the order around which one's on top by simply shifting these, clicking and dragging them down, and you can move them in any order that you see fit. So now we have the red layer on top, the green layer in the middle, and the blue layer is all the way on the bottom. So anyway, now let's go ahead and begin to make a mask. And so I'm going to select the top layer, this red layer, and I'm going to click on my masking tool here, and all I have to do is simply come out, click and drag, and it creates a mask. Now you can quickly see what has happened. In the area of my mask, you can see the red layer, and everything else goes transparent, so you can see the layer underneath it. So that's essentially what a mask is. If I come over here to the green layer and I create a mask, then now the green layer in the area that I selected, the mask that I made, you can see the green, and everything else goes transparent. So now you can see the blue layer underneath it. If I select the blue layer and create another mask, now you can only see the blue layer here. Everything underneath the blue layer is transparent. Everything underneath the green layer is transparent. We can see the blue, and everything underneath the red layer, we can see the green. So anyway, that's hopefully helps you kind of understand how masking works. Now when I create a mask, I'm just going to create another mask here. As I create a mask, and you can see the green underneath it, it gives me a variety of parameters here. If you come over here, you see it automatically creates this box here. Now by default, it is set to add. So in other words, when I make this, when I select a mask, what it does is it selects the mask, and I can see the red, and everything else underneath it becomes transparent. If I switch it to subtract, it actually inverts it or goes the other way around. So now when I select the mask, it cuts that area of the layer out and leaves everything else intact. So kind of inverts it there. So anyway, that's something you might want to know. Now let's go back and just get our solids. Now you can see up here in the masking area, you actually have a variety of tools that you can use. So you can use an ellipse tool, and you can make a mask that way, or you can use a star, or you can use polygon or anything like that, a rounded rectangle. So these things can be can be used. Now, if I hold down shift when I create a mask, it will make a perfect square. And if I'm using the ellipse tool to make a perfect circle, basically it constrains the proportions. And so I can make a perfect square, easily just by simply holding down the shift key. Now the next thing you can use is you can come over here and you can use your pen tool. So you can, create your own kind of shapes like this, whatever you wanted it to be, and then you just simply click here and close it, and that creates the mask. And so now just this area of this kind of funny shape has been selected in the pen tool. I don't know if you're familiar with using the pen tool, but if you click the pen tool and click the pen tool, it creates a perfect line. If you click and drag, and then you can start making some curves, and with the pen tool you can really, the sky is really the limit as far as what kind of shapes and stuff you can make. And then once you close it out, you will have whatever shape that you have created, and it kind of looks like a shoe or some sort of a weird foot to a cartoon character. But anyway, it reveals again what's underneath it in the area that is not selected, as long as it is set to the default of add. So anyway, there are some more little parameters that you can use. So let me just come over here and select the ellipse tool one more time, and I'm going to hold down shift to create a perfect circle and create this mask. Now of course the mask can be moved around. It doesn't have to stay in one place, and you can kind of edit it this way by simply grabbing the handles, and you can change whatever shape that you have created. So that's something you can do. But also there's something else I wanted to show you. If I click on this triangle here, you can see it brings up these parameters, and so you can adjust the the opacity of your mask. So you kind of blend it so it doesn't necessarily have to be 100% opaque, but you can adjust it down so you can see still what's underneath it this way. So that could also come in handy. And then there's also something that is used quite a bit. It's the feathering. So you can feather the edges around the mask, and so now you can see it goes from red to green, but it kind of gets there gradually. It's like this it reduces the hard edges basically, and so it kind of makes blending masks together pretty simple. So that's something that's very simple. Now let's go ahead and click over into something else, and I'm going to show you the composition that we made earlier. And essentially I use mask to create this cloning effect. I basically have two videos. One video is on the top and the other video is on the bottom. So I simply recorded one video first. I believe I recorded this video first, and it's me saying, hey, welcome to my channel, blah blah blah, so on and so forth. And then all of a sudden I appear and I'm talking again, but really it's just two videos stacked on top of one another. So this is the first video, and if I move this first video, you can see, just like with the layers over here, it's just, it works exactly the same way. You can see that it's actually just two videos. One video is stacked on top of the other video. So anyway, all I had to do was to be careful not to overlap, and make sure that when I was over here talking, that I did not overlap the space that was over here. And so this is essentially created with mask. So this is the layer that is on top, and this is the layer that is on the bottom. And I have these two videos that have been recorded. So all I have to do is come over here, go to my masking tool as I did before. I'm going to select the rectangle tool, and then when you mask it like so, voila, there you have it. So I've just created a mask, and what it is selected this area, and everything else that is not selected becomes transparent, and it reveals the layer underneath it. So now it's my other video. So I could, literally inside the video, I could interact with myself. And the reason why I can interact with myself is because I created this mask, and stack the videos on top of one another. And then what you have is you have me over here talking and me over here looking at myself. Now I actually recorded them again separately. So this whole video was recorded separately without me in the shot. And then this whole video here was also recorded separately. So it was just me over here, and I was talking, and there was really nobody over here. And then I sandwiched them together, put them together, and put a mask, applied a mask to it, and then put put them together, and then you got what you saw earlier. So anyway, it's very, very simple, but it all goes back to the basic concept of these layers and adjusting the layers and creating a mask and whatnot. And then when you apply it to video, you can do something like this. So I hope this helps. I hope it's very simple. If you have enjoyed this tutorial, please feel free to subscribe and comment. Let me know you're out there listening, watching the videos and whatnot. And I will be sure to keep bringing you this kind of thing here at the Genius Studios Lab. That is it for me. I will see you on the next tutorial.